Do you own your online presence? I know that may sound like a strange question in 2019, but the fact of the matter is, nearly 50% of all businesses rely exclusively on social media for their online presence. Today on the Marketing Minute, I'm joined by Chris Selleck, owner of Selleck Media, a marketing agency specializing in telling your business story online. Chris and I update a podcast we shared nearly 10 years ago when social media first became a viable option for business.
It, to me, is interesting because 8, 9, 10 years later from when you and I first started talking about all of this, the internet and social media have evolved to the point where they're commonplace. Early conversations that you and I have had really were about how do I get started in social media? How do I put my business online? Where do I focus in terms of digital marketing? Well, today it's table stakes. And I say that knowing full well that almost half of all businesses in the United States still don't have websites.
Wow.
Yes, it's true. In the end of 2018, half of businesses still don't have websites. And we're doing this as an audio podcast. If we were on TV, you and viewers could see me smacking my forehead when I say that. It's unbelievable because most people in this country get their information on their phones and their laptops. And they do most of their shopping now on their phones. So having a web presence of any kind that starts with a website for your business is critical, and much more so than even just 4 or 5 years ago, because the consumers have moved online. Chris, you've probably shopped this holiday season for your family with Google.
There it is, right there.
There it is. That was an Amazon alert telling me that item I was looking for my wife. Sorry about that.
It's available now for a special price of only.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the one thing that I'm still amazed with is how many businesses do not have a website but have a Facebook presence or an Instagram presence or something like that. And that has, for a lot of businesses that don't invest in a website, they've gone the free website through Facebook or Instagram. Or when we talked the last time about websites and Facebook and social media, it was one fed the other.
Right.
And I still think to some extent there's a lot of that interchange going on. It's just a lot of businesses are now foregoing the website, and I'm not sure if that's, and maybe here we can get your take on it, whether that's good or bad.
And that's where we fast forward from the last time you and I shared a podcast together. And here's what's really changed is that the social media platforms, all the free or very low-cost tools that exist online, they're all terrific tools. Some of them have more features and capabilities than others, but there isn't a tool for business marketing online that doesn't meet a need that a business of any size and type has today. If you need to direct mail by customer segmentation, there are tools to help you do that. If you want to share videos, you want to publish podcasts, if you want to share photos from a community event in which your business participated, there are online platforms to do that. And most of them are free or have a very low-cost entry point. Here's the challenge, though, is that our businesses don't own any of those platforms.
No, they don't. And they really, and the other thing is, aside from not owning those platforms, they also have to be careful about some of the other web platforms that offer a very low price.
Right.
And all those other companies that tout that damn near free website and we'll build it for you. My impression is it's kind of like going to the radio station or television station for your creative,
That's it exactly. And so I think what's changed and any starting point today is for businesses to consider how they can build and own and control their online presence in the same way that they build and own and control their in-person, their real life marketing, starting with an office or a storefront. So that same approach needs to be applied to everything a business does online, and it starts with having a website. You're absolutely right. A lot of businesses will say, I can't afford a website, or I don't have time for that. And instead, they choose to build their presence on Facebook or on YouTube. And there's nothing wrong with that on some level, because all of those social media tools are terrific, very powerful. The consumer audience is already there. However, a year from now, Facebook could change the tools that you're using, or could change the terms of service about what you can say and do online, or what they are going to say and do with the content that you've shared there. Some of those services could just go away. And we've seen that. As big and as powerful and as successful as Google is, what did they do this year? They pulled the plug on Google+, the competitor that it introduced 4 or 5 years ago to challenge Facebook. So if your business invested heavily in sharing information on Google+, it's gone.
It's gone.
And yeah, it's absolutely gone. So when I say that a business ought to own their online presence, what that really means is having a website or a blog that has its own address. Just like you do, Chris, for your business, you have a website. And on that website, you talk about your services, you publish this podcast, you have a search feature so that you can match up businesses with your voice talent. All of that is on a website that you've paid for, that you manage, and that no one else can change unless you give them access to change. If you publish all of that same information on Facebook or on a podcasting platform, or if you had a subscription for your voice talent exchange, someone else who owns those websites and those services could change the rules, could change the services, or just turn them off, and you no longer have access to that, and your customers would lose access to you because of what someone else has decided to do online.
In our next episode of the Marketing Minute, we'll continue our conversation with Chris Selleck as we discuss strategies to compete when the internet tries to commoditize your business. That's coming up on our next episode of the Marketing Minute.